All right, here we go with video number 16, VR Maestro Competitive Analysis, the players and the general market maps. Let's go to about my competition, the players and the general market maps. When there's a drop in business, how is a person supposed to know if and when to sell without understanding who or what is happening in their marketplace? In October 2017, I started looking into my competition to figure out where I stood in my marketplace. As I mentioned, actually, I started more heavily in October 2016 when I first took a hit. But then some other things happened in October 2017, which made me look a little harder. In order to get a true feel for your competition, you need to identify those who might be competitive, and then you need to screenshot their calendars regularly so you get a good historical perspective on how they are doing. I mentioned that in the prior video that I started screenshotting their calendars, and I'll tell you what I did later in this video series too, in more detail. What I found is I started doing research in my fellow owners' calendars. Their property history and their personal backgrounds was surprising, shocking, disturbing, disappointing, and frustrating, and you fill in the blank. There were flags flying everywhere. I mean, it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out something was dramatically wrong, just especially with TriStar investing. All right, the sections below include the players, the Baltimore market map, the general competition pre-2016, the current competition map on VRBO, all properties as of 1/28/2018. This is after coming up to speed on this, you'll go to the next submenu, which is the analysis summary. That's not right. We'll just work down through it. The players. Okay. Prior to 2017, there were about 6 to 8 homes I monitored to make sure I was keeping pace. 4 of those were in my neighborhood, and I had an open line of communication with 2 of those owners for years. So you've got to understand, I had been watching calendars for years, to make sure that I was still staying on top or in the top 1 or 2. Although, I never saw anybody that was really outdoing me. It's just that if you're not doing that, if you're not checking the calendars of those that you're competing against, I mean, you're not in business. Business is about, competition and making money. It's not a hobby. At least not for me, it's not. And I want to do well. I don't necessarily have to win, but doggone it, I want to do well. And if somebody's doing better than me, I want to learn. I want to learn what they're doing. Are they presenting things better? Are they doing better, putting better pictures out there? What are they doing? That's how we learn. Competition's great for that. So generally speaking, I do between 10 and 25% more business per year than each of the competitors that I tracked and followed and spoke with. 2 of them I have verbal communication with, and we talk about it. Okay. My properties were the first pick among those for most groups, although those with small kids and those afraid of heights would often choose one of the other properties over mine due to design features. In other words, it's pretty straightforward. I had catwalks in my house. Some people are very uncomfortable on catwalks, interior catwalks. So, and then just the concept of open stairs and kids falling. And my comment was, you're not going to let your kid walk down the stairs without, if they're either old enough to walk downstairs or they're not. And we have handrails, but conceptually, some people struggle with that. So a major investment group, here we are right here, a major investment group out of the Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia area, TriStar Investments, with ties to the music and entertainment industry and a seemingly solitary investor with a diverse political and business background out of Washington, D.C., Michael Archer, combined with some folks I was already familiar with to create a list of 13 properties I decided to track. So here I've identified two investment groups. One had 7 properties, one only has 1. So we got TriStar Investing and we got Michael Archer. I started screenshotting their calendars in October 2017. What's up with TriStar Investing? TriStar Investing has just put 7 3- and 4-bedroom vacation rentals in service in 2017. I have all within a half mile or so of each other, if not closer together. I think it's closer to a quarter mile. 6 of the 7 were purchased for between $375,000 and $430,000, put into service within a month or so of acquisition. 1 was purchased for $175,000 and renovated. Remember, I am a realtor. We introduced that a while back. So I have access to MLS and everything related to their purchases. Also, it's public record in Maryland. We have access to their mortgage documents, which will become more relevant later. That represents almost $3 million of new purchase and upgraded properties introduced in a single year in a, again, quarter to half mile area that had no significant properties there prior because it is not a great location for them. Albeit that's not intuitive to outside investors. So here's the flag that they probably had no idea was flying. These guys probably moved in there and said, hey, look at all this. Look at this. There's nothing here. We could buy up a whole handful here. We could own the market. We could flood it, push other people out and own it. I mean, that's an Expedia, Hilton's type of mentality. If vacation rentals in the area they purchased at were lucrative and profitable, myself and the other vacation rental owners that were in Baltimore that comprised the 25 or so 3-bedrooms that were already there would have already bought there. If you don't, I'm an agent, another guy's an agent and a broker, another guy's a real estate investor. If you don't think that we hadn't already looked at that area for potential business, that's just silly. It's silly. It's crazy. So there's a reason why people hadn't bought there. It was the price combo along with the things that brought vacation renters into Baltimore. And while it's a great location for the Inner Harbor doesn't draw people. It's the stuff to the west of that and the stuff to the east by a mile or half mile to a mile, and it's stuff to the east of that by a half mile or a mile. Plus parking is a train wreck down there. Okay? So the flags were just flying. With this move, TriStar Investing created competition for their 2 existing properties as well as each of the new ones they added. I mean, this is suicide. Okay, they dropped 7 properties within a quarter square mile of each other, not knowing that if there's a market to support it. And 7 out of, let's say there were 1,000 properties there. Doesn't sound bad, but there were only 25 or so properties on the market that were the same size, general size, and shape prior to that on VRBO. Now, Airbnb is a whole different story. I think that bit them in the ass. TriStar Investing is either clueless. This is important we get these bullets right. They're either clueless, backed by institutional investors, running a Ponzi scheme, using properties for money laundering, executing a system to intentionally crash the marketplace, meaning our local marketplace, or some combination thereof, or something else equally illegal or outlandish. There is no logical explanation for the $3 million in properties that were put in service in 2017. Details related to all this on the competitor details page and on this summary. Okay, what's up with Helen Kruger and Charm City Suites? Helen Kruger showed up as a manager for one of TriStar properties. Then later in the search, she showed up as a manager and owner of Charm City Suites with a cross-reference to all of TriStar's holdings and referenced them as being part of the same company. So we've got Helen Kruger, who is also So TriStar Investing is also doing business under the name Charm City Suites. What's up with Isaac Guerrero? Is Isaac actually related to TriStar Investing? The buy and build out of his home in 2015 is almost identical match to the TriStar work that went into service in 2017. There are other things that caught my attention with Isaac's profile, and I questioned in 2015, 2016, and when I saw the TriStar stuff roll out in 2017, that pretty much solidified it for me. It's an opinion, but I'll share it. What's up with Michael Larcher? There are some usual things about each of these folks that made me dig a little. Details related to Michael is on his page. I covered Michael way in the beginning of this. I also covered Michael in the videos where we have the dot across MLK. So, I mean, these things are just screaming. As a guy who's watched my market for 10 years, I can tell you who the homeowners are that lived there and then moved out and rented. I can tell you who the investors are, people that bought and then rented. I can tell you the problems they have. None of these people they stick out. They all stick out. Emperor the Emperor has no clothes on? I mean, it was that bad to me. It was just trying to figure out, who's doing what. What's up with the ridiculously high price on most of the TriStar properties and an unrenovated property in Fells Point? Not sure about that. I don't remember that one. It must be maybe. Oh, I think I saw it in their property ownership docs. And what's up with several properties having no owner manager listed? Oh. So this is separate. There's an unrenovated property in Fells Point, meaning it's finished, but it's priced really high. So this is a separate competitor from the ones above. I added this later. There's a real strange property in Fells Point that's got real high pricing on it. Then there's some that have no owner or manager listed at all. Okay, so let's talk Baltimore. You guys are going to get a good intro to Baltimore here, and I'll try to pick this up. I'm only doing these once though, so here it is. The red pen is me. This is my house. This in general is called Ridgely's Delight. Okay, the green boxes represent venues which often bring short-term renters to Baltimore. My house, Camden Yards, M&T Bank Stadium, Royal Farms Arena, and the Convention Center. Okay? You have Under Armour World Headquarters over here. I don't know if I've ever had any guests related to that. And then obviously I don't have green dots here, but you've got the Inner Harbor here. So orange boxes denote neighborhoods. Ridgely's Delight, Little Italy, Harbor East, center and center right, and then center bottom. So basically neighborhoods. So these green things bring vacation renters to Baltimore. The Inner Harbor is a nice added draw, but very few people just come for the Inner Harbor, although I guess some of the shorter 2 and 3 night stays might have just a trip to Baltimore for the museums. You've got some museums marked on here. You can see there's a museum here, museum here, museum here, library there. Little Italy and Fells Point are fun places to visit. Some people like to stay there for a nice colonial kind of weekend. And you'll see some vacation rentals here. But generally speaking, people are either coming for this stuff or they're coming for this stuff. They don't come for this stuff. And you're going to see this is where they dropped their properties. Okay? So the general competition map. Okay. The image below gives an idea of what pre-26 map might have looked like for 3+ bedroom properties. Pretend the pluriparts had little to no properties in them or at least 50% less. So prior to 2016, if you came to Baltimore and looked for a 3+ bedroom, you would have seen this cluster over here. Mine and 2 buddies of mine. It looks like some might be missing on this map or might have been filtered. And then you would have seen this stuff over here. This has been there a while. All these dots have been blurred out. 80 to 90% of those are actually, 80 to 90% of those are TriStar investing. But this map actually was of all properties in Baltimore. So this is including 1 and 2 bedrooms too. So that's why the blurred out looks, anyway. So the bottom line, for 3 bedrooms, you had this area here, you had this area here, and you might have had 2 or 3 total in this area. And I don't know if you had any up there. Okay. The current competition map says this image shows 50 out of 64 listings for this Zoom. No filters are on for 3+ bedrooms. So this is all bedroom counts. Okay, so this is all bedroom counts in downtown Baltimore. So I mean, it's not a huge market. So I mean, would I notice if somebody came in and started dropping a bunch of properties? Sure, be really easy. Now this is VRBO. Airbnb is freaking flooded. But 9 of these dots, and it's pretty much this group of 9 right here, were all new as of 2017. So, I mean, these were here. These were all new in 2017. I mean, there's no better way to raise a flag. All right. So that brings us to what I'm going to call the west side, West Baltimore. And this is really called South Baltimore. And I'm going to call this East Baltimore, although it's probably just referred to Fells Point in that area more often. So we've got the west side, and we've got the west side of town, which is Ridgely's Delight. We've got the Federal Hill area, South Baltimore. And then we've got the Fells Point, Little Italy area that I'm going to refer to as the eastern part of Baltimore, or of the harbor. So that's it. We'll wrap this up and get on to the next video.